With Android thoroughly dominating the mobile industry, picking the best Android smartphones is almost synonymous with choosing the best smartphones, period. But while Android phones have few real opponents on other platforms, internal competition is incredibly fierce. From sleek devices that impress with premium design, to powerhouses brimming with features, to all-around great devices and affordable phones that punch above their weight, the Android ecosystem is populated by a staggering variety of attractive phones. But greatness is subjective, and sometimes spec sheets and feature lists are not enough to make an idea of how good a phone really is. In this roundup, we're looking at the absolute best, the Android phones you can't go wrong with. See also, best Android tablets, best Android watches. Editor's note: we will be updating this list regularly as new devices launch. After a controversial 2016, Samsung's Galaxy Note line is back in full force. With top-of-the-line specs, a stunning design, an all-new dual-camera setup, and new software features, the Galaxy Note 8 is the best Android phone you can buy right now. The Note 8's near-bezel-less 6.3-inch Quad HD Infinity display with an 18.59 aspect ratio is one of our favorite parts about this phone. DisplayMate agrees with us too.It is big, maybe too big for some people, but at least the company puts that screen to good use. There's a new app pairing feature that allows you to open up two favorited apps in multi-window at the same time, and there are a few new S Pen features that will satisfy the stylus users out there. What's more, the new dual camera setup on the back performs incredibly well. While picture quality isn't a huge step up from what we saw on the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus, the extra 12MP sensor with voice allows you to take clear, concise photos and impressive bokeh shots in just about any situation. No, it's not perfect, but no phone is. Samsung's fingerprint sensor placement is still super annoying, and this phone is expensive. If those things don't matter to you though, the Note 8 might be the right phone for you. Check out our full review below. The Pixel 2 is Google's latest flagship smartphone, and it's great at just about everything. It doesn't have as many bells or whistles as the Note 8, but if you're in the market for a simple Android phone, the Pixel 2 is a great option. This device has a 5-inch OLED 1080p display with a pixel density of 441 ppi.It. Doesn't have a fancy 18:9 aspect ratio screen or a bezel-less design, though it does have front-facing speakers above and below the display. Inside, it comes with a speedy Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 processor, along with 4 GB of LPDDR4x RAM. You can buy the phone with either 64 GB or 128 GB of onboard storage, but there's no microSD card to add additional storage. If you like taking photos with your phone, you'll be very pleased with the Pixel 2's 12. 2MP camera.Not only has it been named the smartphone camera on the market according to DxOMark, we found the Pixel 2's main camera to be incredibly impressive in most situations. There's even a portrait mode on the front and back cameras, even though the phone doesn't have a dual camera setup. You might be wondering why we haven't mentioned the Pixel 2 XL.It is a great phone, don't get us wrong, but just know that the XL's display has had its fair share of issues since launch. The LG-made pulled 6.0-inch display on the 2XL shows off a blue tint when the phone is tilted. It's not tuned to be as vibrant as other OLED panels, and many early adopters have already been noticing burn-in issues. Google says it will continue to combat these issues with software updates, and it's also extended the warranty to 2 years. If you want a Pixel phone with a larger battery and can live with a mediocre display, we'd recommend going for the Pixel 2 XL. You'll be very happy. But if you can live with a smaller battery and a smaller screen that doesn't have any issues, we'd recommend the Pixel 2. The V30 is the latest flagship phone from LG, which has been struggling to compete, at least in sales, with its biggest Android rival Samsung. It is also the successor to 2016's LG V20, which included a secondary 2.1-inch screen on top for showing app shortcuts, media controls, and more. The V30 does away with that secondary display and instead has one nearly bezel-free 6-inch screen using LG's new plastic OLED POLED panel. LG offers a slide-out menu on the phone's display called the floating bar that floats around the screen as a substitute, for folks who might miss the secondary display. In terms of hardware specs, the LG V30 has everything you would expect from a flagship phone in 2017. It has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 with 4 GB RAM, along with 64 GB of onboard storage, a 3300 mAh battery, and IP68 dust and water resistance rating. LG is heavily promoting the advanced camera and photography features on the V30 too. It has a dual rear camera that includes a 16MP sensor with a f1.6 aperture, along with a 13MP sensor with a f1. .The rear camera has a crystal clear lens instead of plastic, which should mean you should get more realistic looking photos with the V30. Video creators should have fun with software features like Sign Video, which allows users to quickly put in video effects, along with Point Zoom, which will let owners zoom into any point in a video. Audiophiles should also be happy with the LG V30, as it has support for hi-fi quad DAC tuned by B. It is also the first smartphone to support MQA, which is supposed to let users stream high-res audio, but with a smaller file size and no loss in quality. See more Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus photos following a successful launch of the Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge. Samsung seemed to have a pretty good idea as to what users want in a smartphone. Solid battery life, high-res screens, impressive camera performance and more were all things the company achieved with the 2016 flagships. And while the Note 7 seemed to improve even more in those areas, overheating problems caused the device to enter total recall mode. Now we get to see what Samsung has in store for us in 2017. It should come as no surprise that the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus feature top-of-the-line specifications, great cameras and an all-new design that's truly futuristic. This time around, Samsung included a curved screen on both the S8 and S8 Plus, as well as a unique 18:9 aspect ratio that allows for a much more comfortable in-hand feel. The company even ditched its famous physical home button and included on-screen navigation keys, finally. Under the hood, these devices come with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 processor or Exynos 8895, depending on the region, 4 GB of RAM, 64 GB of onboard storage, and one of the latest versions of Android 7. Samsung even launched a few extra accessories alongside the S8 that you should definitely consider checking out. The new Samsung DeX dock lets you use your S8 as a desktop computer, and there's also a new Gear 360 camera that allows for shooting video in 4K and live streaming to YouTube. Of course, there's also a new Galaxy S8 compatible Gear VR headset, complete with a controller for easier navigation. All in all, the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus are two of the most promising smartphones launching in 2017. The Huawei Mate 10 Pro has all the features one would expect from the latest high-end flagship smartphones on the market. It has a 6-inch OLED display with an 18:9 ratio, a full HD resolution of 2160 x 1080, and very small of bezels on the top and bottom of the display. Inside, there's Huawei's in-house octa-core Kirin 970 processor, along with a dedicated neural processing unit for faster onboard AI processing. Huawei claims we will see more improvements in AI on the Mate 10 Pro in future updates. You can purchase this phone with either 4 GB RAM and 64 GB of storage, or upgrade to 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of onboard storage. There's no microSD card for adding additional storage, by the way, nor does it have a 3. 5mm headphone jack. The slightly smaller Mate 10 has both. The Mate 10 Pro ships with Android 8. Zero Oreo out of the box. The Mate 10 Pro also comes with an IP67 dust and water resistance rating, as well as a large 4000 mAh battery which supports Huawei Supercharge. This allows the Mate 10 Pro to go up to nearly a full charge in about an hour. The Mate 10 Pro also has a fantastic dual camera setup with a 20MP monochrome sensor combined with a 12MP RGB sensor. The phone got a high 97 score for its rear camera features from the image testing XOMark, which is right up there with the iPhone 8 Plus and Galaxy Note 8. Throughout 2016, the LG G5 struggled to take on the Galaxy S7, HTC 10 and all the other flagships released that year. It's not a bad phone, per se, it just lacks the level of polish we normally expect from top-tier smartphones nowadays. The phone would have been more widely accepted if it nailed the modular implementation, but unfortunately the whole module swapping process was wonky, and the three friends that launched with the G5 weren't all that appealing. With the G6, LG has gone back to the basics. Certainly the most standout feature on the G6 is its 5.7-inch Quad HD LCD display, with its interesting aspect ratio of 18:9 and rounded corners. It also comes with a Snapdragon 821 processor, 4 GB of RAM, plenty of onboard storage, an IP68 rating for dust and water resistance and dual 13MP rear cameras. It's worth noting that not all LG G6s are created equal. For example, the G6 that's coming to the U.S. is the only variant that supports wireless charging, while the Hi-Fi Quad DAC is exclusive to South Korea and certain markets in Asia. What's more, the G6 with 64 GB of storage is only available in a handful of markets. This isn't a phone that introduces a bunch of gimmicky features that you'll never use. It's simply a solid, well-built smartphone that nails the main areas users care most about. The HTC 10 was one of our favorite Android phones of 2016, and for good reason. The Taiwanese company absolutely nailed the design of the 10, and it's worked hard at scaling back the software to make it feel like the bare-bones Android experience we all know and love. And while it didn't have a bunch of gimmicky extras, that was okay. The HTC 10 was a solid Android phone that nailed the basics. Now HTC is back with the 10's successor, the HTC U11. With an eye-catching, glossy design, all-day battery life, and a smooth and snappy software experience, the U11 competes toe-to-toe with the Galaxy S8 and LG G6 when it comes to performance. It also has one of the best smartphone cameras on the market, according to XOMark. The standout feature on the U11 is something HTC calls edge sense. The sides of the phone are pressure sensitive, and this allows you to physically squeeze the phone to activate a specific function or open an app like the camera or web browser. Having to squeeze your phone to make it do something does sound a bit odd, but we've really found this feature to come in handy. Before you go out and spend $650 on this baby, There are a few things you should know. For starters, this phone doesn't have a 3.5mm headphone jack, meaning you'll either need to use Bluetooth headphones or carry around the included headphone adapter everywhere you go. Also, while HTC's Sense is one of our favorite Android skins out there, it is feeling a bit dated at this point. If you can get past those few caveats, though, the U11 will certainly not disappoint. There you have it, our picks from the best Android has to offer right now. Out of those listed, which do you feel is the very best? Be sure to sound off in the poll below. Each month we will also be conducting a giveaway, giving our readers a chance to win the phone with the most votes